The storyteller welcomes you to another nightmare. Plug in your earphones, close your eyes, and let us begin.
I have a trail cam video on my laptop I've never shown anyone. It shows something crawling out of a grave at exactly 2:17 a.m. And the scariest part? When I went back the next morning, the dirt was untouched. No footprints, no drag marks, just a perfectly resealed plot. I used to be a cemetery groundskeeper in southern Louisiana. I worked the night shift alone. And I can tell you right now, not everything that's buried stays buried. I got the job about 6 years ago. Quiet gig. Old church cemetery out in the bayou. Tall oaks, Spanish moss, iron gates that creak in the wind, Real Gothic stuff. It was peaceful at first. No tourists, no kids messing around. Just me, my tools, and the graves. But there was this one section way in the back, older than the rest. Tombstones so weathered you couldn't read the names. The kind of place even the daytime workers didn't like to walk through. Locals called it the hollow ground, said the church didn't bless it right back when the land was consecrated. I didn't believe in that kind of talk until I saw it for myself. It started small. One night, I was blowing leaves along the east path and noticed something weird. A single grave, old cracked marble, had loose dirt all around it. Fresh dirt, like someone had been digging. I figured it was animals, raccoons, maybe wild dogs. I filled the soil back in and moved on. Next night, same grave, more fresh dirt, same weird pattern like the earth was breathing. Rising, falling, then settling smooth again. I started checking every night. Always the same grave, always freshly disturbed. Never caught anyone, never saw a thing. I finally decided to set up a trail cam, motion activated, infrared, high quality, pointed it directly at the grave. First few nights, nothing, just bugs, wind, trees swaying. Then 3 weeks in, the motion alert went off at exactly 2:17 a.m. I watched the footage at the chapel office, and my blood ran cold. At 2:17, the dirt began to stir, like something was pushing from underneath. Then a hand, pale, thin, clawing its way out, followed by a shoulder, a face. Its eyes were pitch black. Skin wrinkled like wet paper. It crawled out, slow, unnatural, then stood up, facing the camera. But here's the thing. His face was completely blurred out, like static over just that spot. Then it walked off camera. Next frame, graves closed, dirt smooth, no trace of anything. I brought the footage to the chapel. The priest didn't even look at it. He just said, that ground was never truly blessed, like he already knew. I pushed him for answers. All he said was, there are things older than the church. Don't dig into them. Just keep the grass cut. They didn't fire me. They didn't even ask for the footage. But the next week, they put up a rusty old fence around the hollow ground, locked it, hung a sign. Maintenance not permitted beyond this point. But I couldn't let it go. I went back in, climbed the fence, set up more cameras, wider angles. And one night I stayed, hidden, watching. 2 a.m. Nothing. 2:10. Still. Cold. 2:17. The grave began to move. But this time, it wasn't just one. 3 other plots started to shift, and from the earth came the same figure, same blurred face, then another, and another. They didn't speak, they didn't moan, they just stood up, side by side, facing the trees. Then they turned toward me. I didn't run. Couldn't. My legs locked up like they weren't mine. The nearest one, just a few feet away now, tilted its head. And in the clearest voice I've ever heard, it said, "He sees us now." I don't remember getting home. Just woke up on my couch the next morning. Shoes muddy, hands shaking. The footage, gone. All files erased. Camera cards corrupted. Only thing left was a single photo saved to my phone. A blurry shot of the graveyard. But if you look close, you can see something standing behind me in the reflection of a tombstone. I quit the job that day, moved 3 towns over. But sometimes, around 2:17 a.m., I hear scraping under my floorboards. Last week I got a package. No return address. Inside was an envelope and a USB stick. The note said, "You should have left it buried." I plugged in the USB. One file, 2:17 footage at Avi. It was trail cam footage. Same grave, same timestamp, except this time the figure didn't walk off camera. Crawled toward the lens. Then, right before it cuts to black, presses its face against the camera. And this time there was no blur. It was my face. Eyes black, mouth wide open, smiling. I don't know what that thing is. I don't know why it wears my face. But I think it's looking for me. And if you're watching this, check the dirt outside your window. If it looks freshly disturbed, don't wait for 2:17. Have you ever seen someone you know is dead, sitting up, alive, staring directly at you? I have, and the worst part, he was smiling, not wide, not happy, just this tight, unnatural grin, like he knew something I didn't, like he'd come back to tell me something. I was a night nurse at a hospital in Chicago, and I swear to you, what I saw that night was real, and no one, not even the security footage, could explain it. Night shifts in hospitals are weird, too quiet in some places, total chaos in others. You learn to expect the unexpected: seizures, codes, psych patients. But this night felt off from the start. The air in the hallway felt heavy. The fluorescence flickered more than usual, and I kept hearing a high-pitched hum coming from the vents. Around 9:50 p.m., I admitted a man in his 60s, Mr. Harold Stein. Heart failure, very weak, pale, barely speaking. He looked at me as I was wheeling him in and whispered, "It's not over yet." I thought he meant his heart condition, but I was wrong. By 11:30 p.m., he was gone. Flatline, no pulse, no response. We tried everything, meds, compressions, paddles, but nothing worked. We called time of death at 11:46 p.m. I zipped him into a body bag myself. Transport came and we sent him down to the morgue on sublevel B. I took a break, just 20 minutes, grabbed a coffee, stared at the vending machine like a zombie. I remember checking the time, 12:12 a.m. Then my pager buzzed. Front lobby wanted assistance with a confused patient sitting in the waiting room. I sighed, grabbed a clipboard, and went to check it out. And that's when I saw him, Mr. Stein. Same robe, same sunken eyes, same foremark on his left arm. Just sitting there, smiling. I froze. I actually checked my own chart, thinking, did I mix up names? Was it a different Harold Stein? Did someone resuscitate him? But the nurse at the front desk leaned toward me and whispered, "Isn't that the guy who died earlier?" I didn't answer. Security was already there, asking him questions. But he didn't respond. He just kept looking straight ahead. Hands folded, feet gently tapping. The security guard leaned in to speak to him. And that's when Stein turned and looked straight at me. Same crooked smile, like he was waiting. I demanded they pull up the footage. We all crowded into the tiny monitor room behind the ER. They rewound to around 12:05 a.m. At first, just an empty lobby. Then static. Complete static between 12:06 and 12:17. When the feed returned, he was just there, sitting in the same chair, staring into the camera. I asked security if anyone had walked him in. They checked the entrance logs. Nothing. Doors had remained closed the entire time. Then someone from downstairs called. It was the morgue attendant. He sounded shaken. The Stein guy. He's still here. We haven't moved him yet. We ran downstairs, and there he was, still zipped up, still cold, still dead. I opened the bag myself. Same face, same birthmark on the chin, but his eyes were wide open now, like he had died mid-scream. I swear to God, one tear had rolled down his cheek, and it wasn't dry, it was fresh. Back upstairs, the man in the lobby was gone, just vanished, not a trace. For the next week, I kept checking that lobby camera every night. Every night at 12:17 a.m., the footage would go static. No visible entry, no audio. Then 3 nights later, he showed up again. This time on the 3rd floor, near the children's ward, just standing there, staring through the glass at the sleeping kids. I sprinted up, but again gone. No footsteps, no alarms, just the scent of rubbing alcohol in the air. People started noticing things. Light bulbs burning out at exactly 12:17. Monitors glitching. Patients waking up screaming with no memory of why. One nurse quit. Another had a breakdown and locked herself in the supply closet. Then the real kicker. I was going through old incident logs trying to find a pattern. Maybe Mr. Stein wasn't the first. That's when I found it. 3 other patients over the last 15 years died in room 304. All at 11:46 p.m. All seen alive again within the hour. All vanished by morning. Same static, same smile, and every single time, I was on shift. I don't work at that hospital anymore. I left Chicago entirely, but sometimes, when I'm alone at night, I still see him, in reflections, in the back of elevators, on dark screens before they light up, always at 12:17 a.m., always smiling. The last time he whispered something, his voice echoed inside my head like it wasn't coming from my ears. He said, "You sent me down too early. Now I'm sending you back. So if you ever work the night shift, and your patient dies at 11:46 p.m., don't go looking for them later, because if you find them, they're not coming back alone." It came through the phone line of an office that's been empty for over a year, and it said, "Come clean me up." I was the only one in the building that night. The phone call came from floor 14, but floor 14 was sealed. No power, no lights, and the phone line? Disconnected 6 months before I started working there. I'm telling you this because I need someone to believe me. Because I don't think it's over. I work nights, always have. Cleaning crews, security gigs, quiet stuff that lets me think. This job was in London. Tall glass office tower, 30 stories. Used to be busy, but after COVID, a lot of the companies moved out. Now, it's a ghost town after 7 p.m. Perfect for someone like me. First week was normal. Mop floors, empty bins, check bathrooms. But there was this one rule my supervisor told me when I started. He said, "Don't go past floor 12. Everything above's just storage now." Didn't question it. Didn't care. Until the calls started. It was 12:09 a.m. I was cleaning the break room on floor 5. The office phone rang. Now, those phones are internal. No outside calls. So that meant someone was calling from inside the building. I picked it up. Silence. Just faint static, like someone breathing too close to the mic. I said, "Hello? Maintenance here." Nothing. Then click. Call ended. Weird, but maybe a prank. Until it happened again. Next night. Same time. Different phone. This time, the call came from floor 14. I asked my supervisor about it. He frowned and said, "Those phones don't work. No power up there." I said, "Then how am I getting calls from them?" He just shrugged. "Ignore it." But I didn't. That night, I checked the call log in the building system. There it was. Incoming call, 12:09 a.m. Origin. Extension 14-03. I looked it up. Room 14-03, former HR office. Vacant for over a year. Curiosity got the best of me. I took the elevator key and went up. Floor 14 was dark, dead quiet. No emergency lights, dust everywhere. But when I reached room 14-03, the phone was off the hook. Next night, another call. This time, from room 14-05. I didn't answer it. I just let it ring while I stared at the phone's little screen blinking. Calling 14-05. The pattern started forming. Every night, a different room. Always 12:09 a.m. Always from floor 14. Sometimes I'd pick up and hear nothing. Sometimes I'd hear breathing. Once, I heard a faint, dragging sound, like someone pulling something heavy across the floor. But the worst came on a Tuesday. I picked up and heard my own name, clear as day. A low, hoarse whisper. "Come clean me up, Daniel." I never told anyone my name. I recorded the next call. Used my phone to record through the speaker. Same time, same voice. This time it said, "Room 14, blood in the carpet. Come clean me up." There was no blood. I checked, but the carpet in room 14-03 did have a dark stain. Old, crusted over. Almost black. I brought the audio file to my supervisor. He listened, didn't blink, didn't flinch, just said, "Delete that. Don't go back up there. Ever." Then he told me something I didn't expect. He said, "There was an incident. Years ago. Someone didn't leave the building." He wouldn't say much, but I dug around. Found a news clipping online. Back in 2004, a maintenance worker just like me had a breakdown. He barricaded himself in room 14-03, slashed his wrists, wrote on the walls with his own blood. I cleaned and cleaned, but I'm still dirty. They found him 3 days later. Phone in his hand. Disconnected line. No dial tone. I quit 2 days later. But the last night, I stayed just to see what would happen. At 12:09 a.m., the phone rang again. I answered. This time, the voice was right behind me, not on the phone. It whispered, "You left a stain." I turned. Nothing, except my mop bucket full of red water, and the floors I had just cleaned, bloody footprints, leading to the elevator. I ran. Didn't stop until I was outside in the cold air. That was 2 months ago. But here's the thing. My home phone rang last night. Unlisted number. I answered, and a voice whispered, "Come clean me up." Same voice, same words, same time, 12:09 a.m. I think whatever I heard on floor 14 followed me home, and I don't know how to make it stop.
Before we move on to the next story, if you like true scary stories, please subscribe to Storyteller and click the bell icon for more creepy tales every week.
I saw her reflection move after she did, not at the same time after, like the mirror was thinking, watching, waiting. She screamed, started shaking, begged me to cover the mirror, and the next morning, she was dead. I still hear the way she was screaming, and what terrifies me the most, it didn't stop with her. I think that thing is still watching, and now it knows me. I worked the night shift at a nursing home in rural Romania. Old, crumbling building, quiet, isolated, and freezing cold in winter. Half the rooms hadn't been updated since the 60s. Most residents were kind, some confused, some lonely. It was a hard job, but peaceful. Until we got Mrs. Ilinka. She was sharp, observant, always watching things closely, not senile, not confused, just quiet, until she wasn't. 3 nights in, she refused to sleep in her room, said she didn't like the mirror. I offered to cover it with a towel, but she grabbed my wrist, hard, and whispered, "No, it doesn't like to be covered." She kept saying the same thing every night. "It copies me, but not right away." I didn't understand. So one evening around 2:30 a.m., I sat with her during rounds. She faced the mirror, raised her left hand. The reflection didn't move. 5 seconds passed. Then it raised its hand. I gasped, genuinely freaked out, but tried to play it off. Maybe I was tired, hallucinating. I blinked and everything was normal again. But her eyes were locked on that mirror. She whispered, "It's learning." I told the head nurse. She shrugged it off. Dementia, hallucinations, ignore it. But Mrs. Ilinka wasn't getting forgetful. She was getting scared. She started covering every mirror in her room with bedsheets and towels. Taped paper over shiny surfaces, even the window glass. She said, "If you see your reflection move without you, it's already too late." Then things got darker. We'd find her hiding in the closet, sobbing. She stopped eating, stopped sleeping, and every night, she'd whisper through the door, "It's behind the glass." One night, she screamed so loud it shook the whole wing. We ran to her room. The mirror, a tall, cracked one from the 70s, had shattered. Glass everywhere, blood on her hands, but no wounds. She kept screaming, "It came out! It came out!" I saw its mouth. We sedated her. She calmed down, fell asleep. She was dead by sunrise. Heart failure. No signs of trauma. No history of cardiac issues. The doctor said it was just her time. But I knew better, because I saw the security footage. There was a camera outside her room. Caught everything. At 3:04 a.m., she stood in front of the mirror, mouth wide open, silent scream. Then she raised her hand, and again the reflection didn't move. It stood there, still, then tilted its head, but she didn't. They were out of sync. Then it raised its hand and pointed straight at the camera. Then the glass exploded. The footage cuts out right after. Just static. They buried her quickly. Closed casket. No service. like they wanted to forget it happened. I tried. I really did. But 2 nights later, I passed her empty room. The mirror had been replaced, and I swear, I saw someone standing in it, but the room was empty. I stared. My own reflection stared back. But then, it smiled, and I didn't. I ran, threw up in the hallway, quit the next day. Now I live in a studio flat in Cluj. No mirrors, not one. But I made a mistake last week. Turned on my phone camera to check a pimple. And for a second, I saw someone behind me, just standing in the corner. Silent, pale. I turned around, nothing there. But when I turned the screen back on, it waved, just like her mirror did. Delayed, mocking. So if you're listening to this, remember, if your reflection ever hesitates, if it doesn't move with you, don't look away, because that means it's no longer you. It's learning.